You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drakewing Gaming, and 70 Mounts Wood of the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you with a new Let's Play episode of Lyre. God, y'all, I cannot wait to get back into this. Oh god, I hope Lord Luvun's going to be okay. Lordy. Oh lordy. I don't know what's going to happen, y'all. I really don't know. This could go so many different ways, but God, hopefully, at least in this story, you want good to prevail. So let's go ahead and continue, y'all. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. You're seriously gonna do this? After everything you've done, you're still okay with this? After all that's happened because of you? He now stands by the exit, his hand resting on one of the door's bars. 3 days, and then we hunt. Hunt? He strides to the door, and Karain closes it behind him with a loud thud. Coward! I shout these words in his direction, and I can hear them travel up the hall like rushing water. If he causes any trouble, gag him. I grow tired of his filthy lies, and I assume you will too. He yells this behind him as I hear the sound of his hooves hitting the ground, the noise getting further away with each second. I look away from the door and turn to Karain, his shadowy figure standing in the corner next to his cart. Please, you have to understand. He's the one who started all this. He shows no sign of listening to me as he rummages through the cart. Looks as if he's organizing things. After a few moments, he draws closer, his footsteps clumsy as he limps with each step. I can hear the rough, strained breaths from beneath the hood as he gets closer. Once he's right in front of me, he places both of his paws on my collarbone. I turn my head away, not exactly sure what he's about to do, but knowing that it's something I won't like. His paws slowly glide up from the front of my torso to my shoulders and then my arms. The claw at the end of his fingers drags along the skin of my arm, sending a horrible shiver up my spine. He traces one of the scars on my arm, which causes the appendage to shake even more. Without any warning, he then grabs my wrists, the shackles around them having already imprinted on the skin at the base of my hands. With a surprising amount of strength, he twists my arms along with the rest of my body, forcing me to face the wall behind me. I'm now standing on my knees, arms held up with my back to him. I hear him step back toward the cart and clumsily grab something off of it, causing a loud clanking noise. Rotating my hands, I try to see if there's any way of getting out of these cuffs. My heart is beating faster than it ever has, and I feel completely helpless. My shirt was taken off days ago, and although the cold air doesn't feel as harsh anymore, I still feel exposed. All I can do is prepare for what's to come. Nothing happens at first. All I can hear is rustling behind me from the torturers as they quietly go about their business. Then I hear it. The noise shoots into my ear with a loud bang, echoing throughout the cell and up the tunnel. It happens again, cracking through the air like an explosion. He has a whip. No, please! I get no hint of a response, instead just the swishing noise of the whip as it whirls around the cell, dragging along the floor. Please! I feel tears begin to form at the corners of my eyes. Closing them, I silently cry to myself, waiting in fear for what's to come. Like, Oh damn, y'all, we gonna get a torture scene like Echo? Oh god. The idea of Lyle breaking into the cell and rescuing me from this appears in my mind. Imagine his white cape rushing past like a blinding light as he tackles Karain. The noise... Siren. The noise of the whip swinging slowly starts to fade out. The dreams of Lyle heroically rescuing me are weak, however. In the darkness of my closed eyes, I can only see one thing for certain. A single candle burning in the center of my vision. It's a strange vision, not at all like those I would see with the mind's eye. It's familiar, like something I've experienced before. The candle flickers in the darkness, the wax on it slowly dripping down the sides. Your name. I hear a voice behind me. It's stern and authoritative, asking me my name. Luvun. I reply, but my answer doesn't come out of my own mouth. It sounds devoid of any emotion. A horrific pain strikes across my back, causing me to arch forward. The pain was sharp and quick, not staying for more than a second, before coming back all at once with a horrible stinging ache. Ah! Stop, please! Two more lashes from the whip drag across my back. The pain is almost unbearable. Let another howl of agony, but there isn't much time to recover as another round begins. Ugh. Oh. Ah. Oh my god. Ah. The constant barrage of pain becomes more and more overwhelming as it goes on. Each strike across my back is more painful than the last. Not only that, but the old torturer cracks the whip in the air so often I can never truly know when he's going to land a strike. With each awful crack of the whip, I flinch at the sound of it, expecting a shocking blow to the tender flesh on my back. It slowly transitions from physical to mental torture. Through it all, visions of Adrius' face invade my mind. His smug smile, those eyes that burn like the sun. The one thing that angers me the most about all this is that he still refused to admit to his crime. Even in private, he refuses to give in. He's heard me accuse him on multiple occasions. Does he truly think I'm just guessing when I make such claims? It feels like hours pass before Siren stops. My body is exhausted, my senses numb. Aside from the wheezes coming from the scum behind me, all I can hear is warm blood dripping onto the slab I'm kneeling on. The cold air glides over my skin, stinging the flesh wounds left behind by the hours of pain I've just experienced. Just then, something wet and cold is draped over my back like a towel. It causes a raw pain to spread over the entire area, and it doesn't stop. My body begins to shiver uncontrollably. The chains from my shackles now rattling much louder than before. I can hear Serene leave the cell as I fall into a state of complete exhaustion. Wake up! My upper body jolts against the wall and my eyes open, the blinding light taking a moment to adjust to. I'm still kneeling on the slab of stone, the side of my face pressed into the wall. From this position, I can see Adrius standing by the door. He has the branding iron in his hands and is clanking the handle against the bars of the cell door. Siren stands near him, hunched over his small cart. I groan and position my head so I'm looking down at my knees. The pain in my back is still there, as if no time had passed. The cold, wet towel seems to have fallen off overnight, and the crisp air rushes over the new wounds. I can't see the cuts, but somehow it's like I can feel exactly where they are, just from the pain. I see Siren really punished you. I hear Adrius walk around behind me, swinging the branding iron around like a cane. I think he'll be having some new scars soon. He traces his finger along one of the scars on my arm, the hard surface of his fingertips pressing into the skin. Feeling him touch me, even with just a single finger, fills me with a new kind of anger, especially after what I've just been through. I want to shout at him, but before I can try to work up the courage, he stops touching my arm, and I feel two paws grab my wrists and body, spinning me around to face Adrius. Siren lets go, and Adrius crosses his arms, gesturing to me. Speaking of these, how did you get them? These are an awful lot of scars for someone in your profession. I'd wager it's more than what Lyle has, or any of my guards for that matter, although it's hard to tell with all the fur. You humans seem to bruise easily, however. I don't answer him, my mouth refusing to move. It's mostly out of anger in a non-verbal way, but no matter how hard I try, the answer won't come to me. Adrius takes a long metallic rod and swings it into my leg, and I can feel it collide with my bones to the thick flesh. It hurts like hell and I let out a sharp yelp. Answer me! I can't remember! He throws back his arm to swing again. Okay, fine! I was a poor kid on the streets of the capital, okay? I got in a lot of fights. He lowers his arm, pacing over the window and looking at it. A typical answer. You're lying. That makes two of us. Who are you? Why were you chosen for this? Why you, of all people? I'm just me. Luvun. No. You're Lord Luvun, ambassador from the kingdom of Erin. He shouts this in a mocking tone as he paces about the cell. I can see Siren out of the corner of my eye, cackling to himself. Of course I only see him cackling, can't exactly hear it. A man with a background which would allow him to keep as many secrets as he liked, and a title, a position, bestowed upon him for reasons unknown and one that he overplays quite often, along with your hardly hidden obsession with the life of my father and his kingdom. And yet you still pretend to know nothing. What are you talking about? He turns to Siren, who's watching us from the corner. Siren, start working on that concoction already. You aren't being paid to stand around. The small man hobbles over to his cart and starts to dig around the shelves on the side. I have no idea what Adrius means by this, but it can only mean something bad. Erin has kept many secrets from us, secrets that I'm very close to discovering. Through this entire fiasco, they've refused to send word, and our letters have been ignored. It has nothing to do with me. Yet you know something that I don't. And if you ever want to see your precious knight again, you're going to tell me what it is. Siren is now carelessly mixing an odd-looking paste in a bowl, the cart he's resting on clattering as it shakes from his movements. You won't let me see him again, regardless of what I tell you. You're asking the wrong person the wrong questions, so kill me and be done with it. Your father and I can sulk over the situation you've thrown this kingdom into in the afterlife. When share a good laugh as we watch you fumble your way through your reign. No, you will not sulk. You will not grovel or ask me for death. He leans the branding iron against the wall again, the old metal dimly shining in the light from the window. He walks closer and hisses to me in a hushed whisper. Were you not listening at all throughout that whole trial? I'm now thoroughly invested in this little game you've been trying to start. Because of you. I thought it had ended once the trial was over and I gave your sentence. But that clearly wasn't the case. I now realize that this was only the beginning. The first round, if you will. He bends down, looking into my eyes at eye level. It's also given me time to think. I don't like you very much. Not at all, really. From the moment you walked into dinner that night, I merely saw you as an annoyance. But I've realized that you pose a great opposition to me. It brings me gratification. He stands up straight, his cape falling down around his shoulder. You will not let your pain break you. Your game isn't over yet, and I will not stand for this pathetic submission. What exactly is your goal here? He gives me a soft smile. It's a smile that betrays who he really is. I see something change in his eyes, like he's a completely different person. I've taken control of my fate, and the fate of this kingdom. I've taken control of your fate as well. You may believe yourself to be in control all you like, but your life is in my hands. You'll find my grasp is very firm. In the end, I will choose what happens to you, no matter what. Adrius backs up to the wall and leans against it, his legs crossed and his hand gently twisting the handle of the branding iron. Siren, are you finished? There's been silence in that corner of the cell for about a minute now, and when I look over, I see Siren cradling a vial in the palm of his hand. He nods and walks over to my left side, standing silently and looking to Adrius for orders. This is your last chance to tell me everything you know. Or else what? I say this, looking at the vial, knowing that it probably has something to do with it. Siren has just completed working on a decent amount of a very potent hallucinogen. I'm not sure if you've heard of it before, but it's called Weeping Dragon. A Drizzian recipe. In small doses, it's not as harmful, but with the amount Siren has prepared... Siren holds up the vial and rotates it in his paw, the contents sloshing around on the inside. It's a thick purple liquid with hints of green and black swirling about. Unlike the medicine Leif gave you to ease your pain, this won't be administered with as much care. This dose will leave you in total agony. I gulp at the sight of it, and it feels like there's a rock in my throat. I can feel my heart pulsing and beating on my chest like a drum. I already told you I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just an ambassador. I was asked to do this. Commanded. I'm not a spy or whatever you think is going on. Every ambassador is a spy, and treason is what draws the line. Is that your final answer? Siren grips the vial tightly, stepping closer to me. Please, I'm telling you everything I know. Give it to him. No, please don't! I almost jump out of my seat, the chains above my head and around my feet rattling as I struggle. Adrius swiftly turns and heads to the door, his hand clasped around one of the bars on the door, and makes sure he swallows it all. Please! I'm cut off as Siren tightly holds my jaw in his grasp. I got to close my mouth, but his paw won't let me as... I go to close my mouth, but his paw won't let me as I'm forced to open it. Keep it open. Struggling in my shackles, I try to do anything I can to keep that substance from entering my mouth. It's no use, though, and it happens so fast. The thick liquid pours into my mouth, resting on my tongue and slowly trickling its way to the back of my throat. The taste is horrendous and extremely powerful. Almost sweet, but to the point where it's painful. I don't even know what's in it, as it doesn't taste like anything I've ever tried before. I try to gag or do anything to stop it from going down, but it's no use. Once it's well on its way throughout my system, Siren lets go of my jaw and backs away. I start to cough as much as I can, but it's not working. I can already hear the sounds of the hallucinogen disagreeing with my insides. Either that or it's already working its way into my body, getting ready to poison my mind any second now. I've never had anything like this happen to me before. As the fear begins to truly set in, I can feel my entire body break out into a cold sweat. I'm so busy being preoccupied with my situation, I don't even hear Siren leaving the cell. The door shuts with a loud bang, and if I wasn't chained down, I would feel I would have jumped out of my seat. Alright, y'all. I'm gonna pause it right there. Okay. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. Check out our Patreon if you can. It helps. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!